Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm continuing speaking about another episode from season 7. This is episode 11, The Yearning. If you are enjoying these videos, please do hit like and subscribe. The Yearning was written by Juliet Packer and directed by Nell Cox. In this episode, we have yet another new minister. In this case, it is Reverend Andy March. And this was really the only episode we ever saw him in. I have no idea why he came and went so quickly, but there you go. Early in the episode, John has stopped by the parsonage where Reverend March is living, and he's called John over because he has some loose floorboards. And in exploring these loose floorboards, John checks where they extend into the closet. He falls through one of these boards and soon discovers that there is a critter under the floorboards. He encourages the Reverend to get out fast, and he does not get out fast enough and gets sprayed by a skunk. Now, I don't know. I seem to remember having the skunk. I don't recall the details of it. If they can somehow remove their ability to spray or what the scene is, but I don't remember anybody getting really sprayed, so it must in some way have been kind of a contained situation and a trained skunk. There you go. In this episode, Elizabeth falls for the new minister, Andy, and initially it's just playful. She puts tomato juice on him after he is sprayed by the skunk. Then he helps her when she needs to learn a poem, to recite this poem for school, and suggests that she read it to him and he'll follow along in the book. And as she is reading this poem, she finds herself feeling these emotions of the poem, this love poem, for real. And that is the beginning of it. She starts leaving him things like flowers and cookies in the shed where he's staying. So this crush is beginning to develop for her. And Andy thinks that perhaps all of this is coming from Aaron, so he misinterprets what's going on. Wanting to feel grown up, Elizabeth asks Mama to make her a new grown-up dress and then asks to have a pair of silk stockings to go with it. When Jim Bob and Ben are teasing her about her crush, Mama protects her and tells the boys that they need to stop teasing her. When Jason says that Andy is coming by, Elizabeth stops her ironing and runs over to primp at this mirror in the kitchen. I don't remember this mirror being in the kitchen regularly. Mirrors were always a little tricky because you had to be careful that they didn't reflect something that you didn't want to see. So let me know if you remember seeing this mirror in the kitchen. Elizabeth writes Andy a poem, but she only signs it E, and when he gets it, he thinks this is from Aaron. He goes to find Aaron. Now this shot, as he leaves the shed would have been an interior set, even though you see the outside. They did a good job of making it look like the outside. Then you see him on the porch. Again, we didn't see him from a wide shot on the exterior set. So this says to me, they just picked him up again on the inside soundstage coming across the porch. He sort of confronts Aaron, thinking that she's been leaving these things. She says, I know nothing about it. He says, you signed the letter E. And Aaron reminds him that she is not the only Walton girl with the initial E. Andy asks John for advice, and John suggests that yes, Andy should talk to Elizabeth. He takes Elizabeth for a walk, but really puts his foot in it. And now Elizabeth is just really embarrassed and humiliated and doesn't want to talk to him. Mama comes and tries to talk to her, but she's sort of not ready to deal with Andy yet. So when Mama goes to the parsonage to help rehang the drapes, Elizabeth won't go. But Andy does say, yes, I do need to talk with her. Andy finds Elizabeth at the pond, and he suggests that perhaps, since he didn't have any brothers or sisters, perhaps he could be another brother to Elizabeth. And Elizabeth admits that with John Boy gone, maybe she could use another brother, but not yet. She's not ready for that. John comes and talks with Elizabeth and about how she really has grown up, and there's the understanding that she was really hurt about Andy not loving her the way she wanted him to. And John recognizes that now that she is becoming very grown up, that her feelings are very real and very grown up. And he offers to have her put on that pretty grown-up dress and to go dancing with him. She's not sure if she's ready. Elizabeth does decide to take Daddy up on the offer to go dancing and comes down all dressed up and looking very grown up. And before they go out to dance, Jason plays, and John and Elizabeth do dance there so Olivia can see it. And Olivia is just so touched to see her little girl is now very grown up. And I loved how this shot then pulled back from in the living room through the window of the living room to kind of see them through this newly framed shot. The other plot in this episode revolves around the Baldwins, who plan to write their memoirs, and they hire Aaron to take shorthand and help them compile the notes for their book. At one point, they speculate about if the book were to become a movie, that Miss Mamie says that Betty Davis would play her, and Miss Emily says that Katharine Hepburn would play her, that Leslie Howard would play Ashley Wilkes, and then Miss Mamie speculates about who would play her beau, Octavius Fairweather. Now, I don't remember her ever talking about a beau by that name. I know in the Boondoggle there was a reporter who was there, that there was a little bit of a flirtation, but I don't remember his name being Octavius Fairweather. So let me know if you remember this beau being talked about much before. But anyway, as Miss Mamie is then reading Papa's journal, she comes across an entry where Papa received a letter for Emily from Ashley, but he didn't think they knew enough about him to consider him a fitting suitor for her, so felt nothing good could come from any communication with him. And he didn't want to destroy it, so hid it somewhere where she would never find it, and someday when she had overcome the silly infatuation, he will give it to her. Miss Mamie and Miss Emily have been looking all over the house trying to find this letter. They can't find it. And Miss Emily is so angry at Papa that she says that she wants to take his portrait down and turn it to face the wall. Miss Emily gets Aaron to help, and when Aaron is helping them take it down, they discover the letter in the back of the portrait. Aaron takes it out and reads it aloud to them, and basically they discover that Ashley says he was in love with Miss Emily, but that he was going to go away because he felt that's what he should do, but that he has left something for her at their special place. Miss Emily knows that this means it is the tree where he kissed her. So she wants to go right away, but they agree they will do it the next day when there is sun out. When they go to the tree, first of all, it takes them a bit to find it because it's been 40 years and there's a lot of extra vegetation that's grown. But Miss Emily does find the tree, and there carved on the tree are their initials, and there's an arrow pointing to a branch that has fallen off, has died, and it's hollowed out. And in that hollowed out branch is a box with a ring, and it is a ring that was Ashley's. It has a blue stone that he said reminded him of the color of Miss Emily's eyes. So we find out that after all these years, the romance really was very real to both of them. Writer Juliet Packer shared this about her thoughts in writing this episode. This show is all about unrequited love, not only 13-year-old Elizabeth's crush on the new minister, but shattering new information is discovered about Miss Emily's long-lost beau, Ashley Longworth. I wanted to write about Elizabeth's first love because I had so many cases of puppy love when I was growing up. It was like living in a kennel. When the minister has to tell Elizabeth he can't return her romantic feelings, Elizabeth is luckier than many girls because her parents are there for her. They never dismiss her feelings as teenage crush. They acknowledge the very real pain she is feeling. In this episode, we were happy to have back Ronnie Claire Edwards as Corbeth, and of course, Mary Jackson and Helen Klebe as Miss Mamie and Miss Emily. And then Sean Thomas Roche played Reverend Andy March, just in this one episode. Sean did quite a bit of acting when he was a young man and then transitioned into writing, and mostly for animated children's programs. I hope you've enjoyed this look back at the episode from season 7, The Yearning. I will be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more Ask Judy and more special guests. Thanks for watching.